So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ask YP Now show. So, this is a live show focusing on positive living, work life balance, living with passion, success in life and business, and most importantly, making the world a better place. And today we have with us Joey. So, Joey, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a bit more about yourself. Where are you? Where are you right now?
สวัสดีครับ good evening everyone. I'm Joey Tong. I'm actually a Malaysian from Kota Baru, Kelantan. Yeah. And currently
Okay.
I'm doing a business whereby I import product from Malaysia and then distribute it in Thailand, whereby we actually do like a one-stop business consultation. Means we bring in the products from Malaysia legally, get it registered with the Thai local FDA, and then distribute it to local retail chain store.
Okay, so the reason why Joey is with us tonight because he is so inspiring. He's a young, dynamic, energetic person, and he doesn't let situations hold him back. Okay, so Joey, share with us a bit about what previous business that you're doing and what has made you pivot. Okay, from your previous business to your current business.
Right. Actually, before the pandemics, my main business is doing event management. I have 13 years experience and 77 experience in event management. Our signature events is a Thai food festival, whereby I've organized in the whole of Malaysia, and was based in Malaysia before before pandemic happened. And then when the pandemic hit, I pivot my business to trading business. That time I was in Thailand as my wife is a Thai school holiday in Malaysia, so I thought I went back to meet my in-law and all that. Yeah. And we ran a place to expand my event management business, and with the idea of having a small showrooms of Malaysia products in Thailand. Yeah. But suddenly there's an announcement, or we are supposed to open the shops or the office on 24th of March 2020. And Malaysia Prime Minister announced a lockdown on 16th of March. I could remember it clearly. So within one day, on the 17th of March, I have to decide whether I want to go back or stay on. So I decided to stay on because that time COVID in Malaysia is far more severe than in Thailand, and I just want to risk my family coming back at the border with meet up with a lot of people. So that's how it works. So from 2 years now until about 800 days, about almost 3 years. So I'm finally back in Malaysia last Friday.
So what you haven't been back in Malaysia for over about 3 years, and this is the first time you're back in 3 years.
Correct.
Okay, so that's interesting, isn't it? So it's like a brave decision, isn't it? So 3 years ago, you made a decision that when the lockdown came, you wanted to be based in Thailand and not Malaysia because of the COVID risk. Okay, was that the only thing that you're considering, or were you also considering some other things? Because I think for most people, settling down in a place where you are not totally familiar with could be a bit of a challenge, isn't it? What made you want to stay back apart from the COVID?
My wife is a Thai. She can only speak in Thai, so I thought, but I could speak multiple languages. Yeah, I could speak Thai quite fluently. So and the place that I started my life in Thailand is my wife's hometown. So I thought it would be much more comfortable with her. So that's why I decided to stay there. You see, at least there's my in-law that could actually take care of the kids as well.
Okay. So I think people be wondering in their mind, So Joey, did you learn how to speak Thai before you met your wife or after you met your wife?
I live near the border, which is Kota Baru, Kelantan. So basically, I could speak a little Thai, and then I've been doing the event management business for the past 13 years. So most of my clients is a Thai. So from there, I start practicing Thai and all that. And my wife actually worked as a local staff in one of the government agency that was my client. So that's how I got to know her.
Okay.
So that's how I practice my Thai. You see.
Okay, so you turn your client into a life partner. Okay. How did you start your business in Thailand? Okay, so you said that you're running this event company, event management business in Malaysia, bringing Thai Thai companies with the Thai products and do the Thai festival, Thai road shows in Malaysia, right? So now it becomes the opposite. So how do you actually, came across the idea that you want to be, promoting Malaysian products in Thailand?
I see. Actually, when the pandemic hit, the announcements of lockdown is only 2 weeks, then they extend to 2 months, and then keep going until almost 3 years, right? And then during the initial stage, during the initial stage, my wife asked me, are we gonna get through the pandemic? Are we gonna get through this crisis? So I have to be tough. So I told her it's gonna be okay. We've gone through a lot of challenges, and this time we are much more ready than before. Before we hit rock bottom. So we can get through this. So I have to be tough and do something. So from then onward, I start thinking what can I do. So I start listening to podcasts, doing some research and all that, and I know that event is badly hit during the pandemic. So one of the business that is not been hit is F&B business. So I decided
Okay.
to just pivot from events that we can't go on. If let's say the pandemics still goes on and all that, to F&B. That's where I decided to to do something. But from there, if let's say I were to start something that the others is doing as well, it would be difficult for me. So I look back at my strength, my strong point, which is trading between Thailand and Malaysia. I bring exhibitor from Thailand to Malaysia, and I've actually bring some Malaysian to Thailand as well. So from that, I thought, okay, with my multiple language skills and my contacts and network in Malaysia, with the government agencies and entrepreneurs or factory and products owner, I should be able to do something about it. So that's where I get the idea of, bring product from Malaysia coming to Thailand and sell it.
So it's good, isn't it, that you know what your strengths are, and then you know what your network and your contacts are, and you leverage on that, right? So were there any people, when you want to, pivot, being based in Thailand, bringing Malaysian products into Thailand, the people around you, were they actually supporting you, or would they say, "Oh, Joey, you're gonna be crazy to do this in the pandemic"? So what was the environment like? Supportive or maybe not so supportive? Okay.
Not so supportive. As a Malaysian yourself, you should know that we Malaysian love Thai products. So normally people's would the demands for Thai products in Malaysia would be much higher than me bringing Malaysia products to Thailand, because many of us thinks that Malaysia product is less interesting compared to Thailand. But from my point of view at that time, I've got no choice because I'm in Thailand, and I look at Malaysia products that we have the halal certificate that could be our strong point for our products, as Thailand has got 70 million populations, and 5 million populations are Muslim, and the provinces that I'm in is from southern Thailand, which is majority is Muslim. So I thought that is a gap that I could fill in.
Okay. So there's being strategic, isn't it? Bringing halal products into South Thailand, right? So when you first started bringing in products, what were the products that you brought in, and who supported you in terms of the supply of products?
I picked the 3 pilot products. One is a chocolate-based products, and second one is a coffee powder, and third one is the cooking powder kind of thing, like those rempah, rendang, and all that kind of thing. So to test to see which one work and which one doesn't work, and I managed to get one of the products to work, which is the chocolate one, whereby during the first year of lockdown of the business, we'll be making profits and selling throughout the whole Thailand or online basis.
Oh, okay. Chocolate. That's interesting. So you're saying that the coffee and the curry powder, or the spices, did you discontinue it very fast, or do you just carry on for a while before you discontinue?
I tried for a while, but because with the lockdown going on, we can't apply it properly, because most of it has to be done online, and it's so new to most of the officer. And for the local retail chain store to get our product, it have to be approved by Thai FDA and do it properly. And with that, there's a issue for us, like even the purchasing department for those retail chain store also stopped meeting others. So we choose to sell it online, whereby online we doesn't require to actually get the FDA done first.
Okay.
So that's how we get it work, because for coffee and spices we have to do food tasting, and without events there's no food tasting, so the people can't
Okay.
actually try. Yeah.
Okay. So chocolate is more neutral in the sense that people don't need to have that what do you call it? A trial before they can actually experience, or sorry, the trial experience before they actually buy the chocolate. Okay, was it?
Correct. And
So these are all Malaysian made chocolates.
yeah, it's Malaysian made chocolate, because what happened is uh chocolates, in Malaysia we got the chocolate association, whereby in Thailand they don't really have much of a chocolate association or chocolate based products. So when I bring in the product, lockdown happens, the Thai people seems like they need something to chill and to eat, you need during lockdown, because nowhere to go. So this product actually hit well during the pandemic, because it's actually ready to eat kind of product, whereby when you open, there's a chocolate with chocolate crunch, and you can actually have it on the spot.
Yeah, and then I suppose in the pandemic, people are a bit sometimes emotionally down, and chocolate is always one product that make people happy. And chocolate, I was reading, has got all these ingredients inside that actually when the body eats chocolate, the happy hormones get triggered.
Yeah.
So it's comfort food. Yeah. Okay. So was it challenging to start up a business in Thailand, in a foreign country? Do you have to go through a lot of red tape and so on?
It is quite challenging, because I totally changed from a Malaysian based in Malaysia doing event management. That was the only business experience that I have, to a Malaysian have to live in Thailand, and I still can't read and write in Thai and doing trading business. So it's basically starting a new business overall. And with the lockdown going on, the custom declarations and the logistics parts is more complicated compared to what they normally do it. So for me to start, I have to learn by doing. So I went and meet up with the custom by ourselves, study the how to bring it in by ourselves on declaration part and all that. Yeah, so it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but at that time I don't think I've got no choice but to find something to do, because we don't know when the pandemic is going to end.
Okay. So my question to you is this, sometimes people give up easily, and sometimes people like you persevere, you got the tenacity to carry on. Okay. So what was the mindset you have? Okay. What was the mindset you have, or the attitude that you have that makes you keep going on, even though it's challenging? Okay. I think that's very important for an entrepreneur. Can you share with us more? How do you program yourself to be, to keep on going?
I always think that I've got no choice but to go on, but to move forward, no matter what happened. Because during my event management times, how I started my event management is nobody support me as well. They think it couldn't be done. What more bringing the Thai vendor to come into Malaysia? So I've actually organized the event in Kota Baru, Kelantan first. And as event organizer, normally we only organize event in one state. We won't cross the state. But I break through that taboo and then start organizing in other states, in Terengganu, Penang, and suddenly in the whole of Malaysia. So yeah, I thought I could do that. Then after that, I start organizing 2 events concurrently at the same time. So with my event experience times, I kind of have a mindset of my own that there's nothing impossible if we try. So with that, when the pandemic happened, I always believe that I have to get through this pandemic no matter what, and I actually have my family to take care of. So I have to go on only, as there's no option for me but to go on.
So I'm going to ask you a tough question here, Joey. Okay. So at the end of the day, you said you got no choice, but you got to go on, right? But giving up is actually a choice. So you got 2 choices actually, to continue
Yeah,
or
but
to
not a
give
choice
up.
for me.
Okay. So why did you not give
Yeah,
up? Okay. So the question is,
yeah.
why did you not give up? I know it's a tough question, but why
Because
did you not give up?
I have it's a tough question, but I think it's easy because I'm the leader of my family, so I have to be strong
Okay.
for my wife, for my kids. Yeah, cause my kid is still small. My son is 6 years old. My daughter is 4 years old. There's a future for them.
Okay.
So if I
Mm-hmm.
give up, then it'll be bad for them. So that they are the motivation for me to keep on going and to make a choice to go on.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's very important, isn't it? To have a family that's dependent on you, and therefore you make yourself go through, overcome a lot of challenges so that you're able to look after your family, isn't it? Because there's a saying, there is a saying that says that people would do more for others, and especially for people they love, than they would do for themselves. So therefore, you got a family that you care for, and therefore you go all out, to make sure that you're able to feed them well. Okay. So share with us. What was the biggest challenge or some of the challenges? Maybe not the biggest challenge, but share with us some of the challenges that you had to go through and how you overcome it, because that will be inspiring for a lot of people who are listening in. So before you answer, I'm just gonna welcome everybody again. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are joined us, either in a live show or you're listening to this recording, welcome to the Ask YP Live Now show. So this is a show about positive living, work-life balance, getting the best out of your life, and especially to make this world a better place. And so we have, with us tonight, Joy Tong. Okay, he's actually a Malaysian who started a business in Thailand, and he pivoted his business during the pandemic. He thought he'll be in Thailand for just a few weeks. It turned into 3 years. Okay. So tonight we are asking Joey to share with us his stories, his personal challenges, how he overcome them, and how he's succeeding as a Malaysian business owner in Thailand, or southern part of Thailand. Okay. So Joey, carry on. So the question just before I interrupted you was, uh, share with us some of your most challenging moments and how do you actually overcome them. Yeah.
I see. First and foremost is definitely the language issue. Yeah, I can only speak in Thai, but I still can't read and write. So how I
Mhm.
overcome it is even now, every times I have to discuss in Thai or whatever, I'll get it to put into Google Translates and get it translated into English,
Oh,
and
okay.
then record me speaking in Thai so that it types up in Thai, and then reply it back to the person that I'm communicating with. If let's say my wife is not there with me, and because my wife has been depending on me when we are in Malaysia, so I have to change her mindsets that now we are living in Thailand. So you have to toughen up and support me. So after almost 3 years now, is much more better because I'm still not local. I'm a foreigner, so I need my wife's support. I need technology support. So with some innovations, I get it going. So the language is the first issue.
Wow. Wow.
Second one is a new business that I'm in, and the location that I'm in with the border to meet up with the custom and to bring the goods in is about 2 hours drive. So when the lockdown is, I have to drive like 2 hours away every time I bring the goods in to actually do our own custom declaration with the custom. So that's where
Mhm.
we learn and then build out our connections. And then the third thing is starting to use technology like Zoom and all that to discuss with my suppliers back in Malaysia and see what is possible. And then learning how to do the logistic part on bringing in the samples and goods. And finally, when we have our language issue resolved, logistic and the product part, next is how to market it. So
Okay.
I use my connections for events. In Thailand, we can actually have events on August 2020 until December before the Delta hit.
Okay.
So when we got the product, we start going on to booth. So I choose a good locations with my events contact in Thailand to actually promote the products. That's the first thing that we do.
Okay.
Yeah. And second one, I got quite limited contacts because during event management times, my vendors are mostly those food cooking, like those tom yum, mango sticky rice, all that. We don't
Okay.
have much of a businessman entrepreneur kind of connections. Yeah.
Mm.
So I've been introduced to BNI. I've been introduced to BNI on April, whereby BNI went on Zoom sessions, and my friend in
Okay.
KL invited me for one of the session as a visitor. But after joining the session, it was a great networking session, but I don't see the benefit because I'm in Thailand at that time. So I didn't join as a
Okay.
member. Then I was invited again another 2 times. The second chapter was in KL as well, and the third chapter is in Penang. So I didn't join any of the
Okay.
chapter in Malaysia. Yeah, until the third chapter, my friend that invited me said, Joey, we actually just had a business matching with BNI Thailand, and
Okay.
and and are you interested in joining BNI Thailand? I said, if let's say in Thailand, then it sounds good to me. It sounds quite interesting. Let me check it out. So I went for my first session as a visitor, but it's the first chapter in Bangkok. Yeah, it's a showcase chapter called Integrity. They have got like
Okay.
100 members, and after joining the Zoom session, I'm like, okay, this is what I need. If I have the resources, but for me to get the connections, and I'm in Yala to Bangkok is about almost 1,000 kilometers away, and the big market is in Bangkok because they have like 15 million population in Bangkok. So I'm like, yeah, if I want to accelerate, BNI should be able to actually help me on that part. So I told my friends that invited me to the Bangkok chapter that I want to join as member, but I didn't know anything about BNI at that time. I didn't know that I need to have on-site meeting every week, this and that. And when they told me, I said, yeah, I can do it. But I think they know that I can't do it. So they said, we have a founding chapter. We're actually setting up a chapter in Hat Yai. So basically, Yala
Okay.
to Hat Yai is about 2 hours away. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they sent me to this chapter that they are forming the groups, and I said, yeah, okay. But the group that just formed and the feeling of joining a group that has been established is totally different feel. So I'm not very
Oh,
impressed
okay.
with the group that they asked me to join in Hat Yai. Yeah, so I'm like,
Okay.
I'm not interested. I don't think I want to join. But I talked to one of the directors that is launching the chapter. They said, Joey, you give it a try. You know, if it doesn't work, maybe you can move to Bangkok. I said, okay, fine. I'll give it a try. So I end up as a founding member there. So we launched the chapter on July, and August onward, Thailand start having on-site meeting. So
Okay.
the new challenges came, whereby I have to travel weekly to Hat Yai, 2 hours,
Okay.
2 hours drive, yeah, weekly on Thursday.
Okay.
Rent a hotel for one night, and then went for the meeting in the morning on Friday, and then drive back to Yala. So I did that every week for at least 6 months during the on-site meeting.
Wow. That
Yeah,
takes
so it wasn't
commitment,
it
isn't
wasn't
it?
easy. It wasn't easy.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I see is the connections, because in our chapter at that time we have like 50 members, and they are all businessmen in Hat Yai that can definitely help me in accelerating my
Mm.
connections locally.
Mm. So this is actually a very inspiring story, most people will say 2 hours drive, huh? So far, but then there's you who is willing to, put in the time commitment. In fact, it's also an additional cost, isn't it? Because you're renting a hotel on what, Thursday night, so that you can be there on a Friday meeting.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm very impressed. So you've shown, a lot of qualities. So, if you want to sum up, some of the qualities that you've shown, you show perseverance, you've got foresight, you've got strategy, you've got commitment. So these are all the things that are very important for us to succeed as an entrepreneur or as a business owner, right? These are all the qualities, right? But among all these, what do you think is one of your most important, quality or secret to success?
Commitment.
Commitment, okay. Do you
Yeah.
want to share an example?
Yeah.
Hi, Kang Wei.
I mean,
Yeah,
how
share example about
how
commitment
how
apart from the story. Yeah.
when I commit to do something, I actually work on it. Like have to travel like 2 hours away. Many people said, it's difficult, but I know this is one of my way out to accelerate, because if without connections, and the world is on lockdown, all that, it is hard for me to move. So by me traveling, what I see is I'm spending more. I have to, there's additional cost of the hotel rental, accommodation rental,
Mhm.
petrol fees. The time that I spend means 2 hours to Hat Yai and 2 hours and back. So I have to work extra hard compared to others. I'm a foreigner here. Other people, their house is here. Lockdown is fine. They still have their family. But for my side, I have to leave my family behind to drive 2 hours away for the chapter meeting overnight, one night. My cost is higher. I spend more times. I make more efforts. So I need to get a result out of it. So with that, I'm very committed and to do that, I start learning more and accelerate things out. So from there, I think commitment is very important, because without commitment, I don't think can get through the pandemic as well on how it goes.
So I hear two words. I hear commitment, and I hear the word results. So apparently you are somebody that's also very results focused, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So from a business owner's viewpoint, I know I'm asking you all these tough questions. So from a business owner's viewpoint, what are the results that you focus on?
Growth.
Growth, okay.
Growth.
Can you
Yeah,
share a
growth will
bit
be
more?
one
Can
of
you share a
them.
bit more? Uh-huh.
Before the pandemics, I've been organizing event in the whole of Malaysia, and I thought, yeah, I have a lot of connections and I'm doing okay, fine. Yeah, but by me being in Thailand, I'm starting a new life from almost zero, because nobody know me. So I need to get acceptance from members in the chapter, the businessmen in Hat Yai, and all that. So never did I thought, after almost 2 years getting locked down in Thailand, I've known so many businessmen, quality ones in Thailand. So basically, in the times of lockdown that we can't meet people, I can actually meet a lot of businessmen that is more than I do during my events time, that I can go out freely. So basically now, I mean, with BNI, the help of BNIs, I actually can get connected with almost more than 3,000 BNI member, which is a businessman in Thailand, in Malaysia as
Okay.
well, because Thailand, we start going on Zoom on 2020 March, and I just stock up a new products into Thailand. I was badly hit by Delta last year actually, but when the lockdown happened, I can't go out. I don't know what to do, and our meeting platform has changed from on sites to Zoom. So I have a sixth sense telling me that, okay, I don't know what to do, but they are Zoom, and BNI now they are zooming the whole world. So let's become a global traveler using Zoom, because it saves cost, it saves time.
Okay.
In the morning, in the morning I can go to Malaysia. In the afternoon, I can go to Kenya. At night, I
Okay.
can go to US for the chapter meetings on that, and with that,
Wow.
yeah, with that, never did I thought during the 1 year lockdown and everything goes on Zoom, I can now really connect globally. So that time I might not know what I'm doing. It's just a sixth sense that I have to do something. I have to keep improving, keep learning. But from not knowing and looking back at what I am now, I'm proud to say that to my friend, especially in Kelantan, or people that I know, okay, which country do you want to get connected to? Because I have friends throughout the whole now, even in Hong Kong and all that.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is the growth in connections. And when we get connected with every countries, we get to discuss about things in their countries, the profession that they do. So from that, it actually opened up my mind from normally we do events and only in Malaysia. Now we start to see opportunity in other sector as well, and how we can get connected. So from there, I know that I know little, so I have to keep on learning from that.
Okay. So that's a very good another quality that you mentioned, learning, or in BNI, as we say, the one of the core values is lifelong learning, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you always got to learn all the time. So Joey, we are coming up to the 30-minute mark. The show is around 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm going to ask you one final wrap-up question. Okay. So if young people or young entrepreneurs are just starting out in business, what sort of advice will you give them? Okay. Right. I suppose for old
First,
people also lah.
I think they have to know what they want in life. What is their big why? Like you always said, you see. So when you know your why, you do your thing, like what you advised me before. So now first, when we know our why, then we have to be able to see lah what are the direction that we want to go. Then only we can make a a plan of it. So when we can see where we are going, where we are heading, we can visualize it and how to go through it. We just have to believe and then keep on working. Just change the technique if it doesn't work, but the vision of our goals never change. So don't give up easily, and then keep on learning, because to be able to reach the goals that we set is there definitely hiccups or challenges, but with strong belief, take the courage and goes on.
Okay, that's very good advice. Yep. So for those of you who are listening in, thinking to start a new business or thinking to start your first business, um, the most important advice that comes from Joey is to know your why, and once you know your why, then you work towards achieving what you want most in your life. Okay, so thank you so much, Joey. Right. So what Joey has put up is his connect on Facebook. So there's his Facebook page, Thai Fest. Remember, he brings Malaysian products into Thailand, and when he gets back to his event business in future, he'll be bringing Thai products into Malaysia, or Thai product festivals, right? So be in touch with Joey. Like his Facebook page, and whether you're listening to this live or you're seeing a recording of this, you can always go to this Facebook page and connect with Joey, okay? Because he's such an inspiring young person, right? So, this Ask YP Now live show is on every Thursday at 7 p.m. Malaysian time, Singapore time, Manila, Hong Kong. So it's the GMT plus 8, 7 p.m. So if you're in Thailand, you'll be 6 p.m., right? So there's an hour back, right? So next week, we're going to have another, interesting show. Next week, we're going to have another speaker. And this speaker is talking about the metaverse. Do you know that you can have a slice of the metaverse? You can own property in the metaverse. You can even, Joey, own a showroom in the metaverse. Okay, interesting, isn't it? So the metaverse is now a catchword in the business industry. So don't be left behind. Come and listen to our next speaker. His name is Dante, and he's one of the leading persons helping people get a stake, or having a slice of the metaverse. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what the metaverse is, then it becomes even more important that you're here next Thursday, right? So that's next Thursday's show. Do you have a slice of the metaverse, right? So thank you so much for joining us today. And if you're listening this for the first time and you've not got this book yet, this book that I've written some time ago is already an Amazon bestseller. So you don't have got to go to Amazon to buy this book. Okay, here's the link. You can get a free copy of this book. And this is to say thank you so much for listening to us. Right. So with this, Joey, let's wish everybody a good evening. Right. Okay. And so
Bye-bye.
thank you so much for being with us. And we'll see you next Thursday. Bye bye.